At the time of Eamon's accident, the only chink of light that came through into what was otherwise a very, very black place was the fact that his organs were being donated for transplantation, which would be giving new life to others. And at the time, that was a huge comfort to us, and it continues to be a huge comfort to us.
When the notion of the possibility of organ donation came up, we immediately were able to respond and say, yes, it is a consideration, because Martina had a conversation with her son Eamon a few weeks before the accident. And at a time when of extreme darkness, and it was an extremely dark time, the whole notion that something good could come out of it, that there was the possibility that Eamon could contribute to life of other people, was very, very consolational. It was like a ray of light in a very, very dark place.
And as time went on, we actually felt the need to tell other people, and so that other people would understand the benefits of organ donation, not just to recipients, because in a way that's obvious, but the ongoing comfort it gives to donor families. So we decided to set up a charity, which we called Strange Boat Donor Foundation. The title of the charity derives from a song of the Waterboys, and as Eamon was a sound engineer, music was his passion. Somehow or other we kind of felt that it seemed okay to call it Strange Boat.
We're sailing on a strange boat, heading for a strange shore. We're sailing.
The organ donation community, by its very nature, is a very disparate group. There's no focal point or anything like that. And we felt, wouldn't it be lovely if we could create something tangible that could draw together creative focus and benefit and console, etc., the organ donation community.
The most important project undertaken by Strange Boat Donor Foundation is the creation of the Circle of Life National Organ Donor Commemorative Garden, located in Salthill in Galway.
We set out to create a place of beauty, to acknowledge and thank the donors, and to create a place of inspiration, healing and hope for the families of donors.
The garden is beautifully sited on the promenade in Salthill, in a park which was made available to us by Galway City Council, and in which Galway Civic Trust also plays an important role, as they help with the maintenance, the ongoing maintenance and upkeep of the garden.
The concept underlying the design of the garden was the hawthorn flower, with 5 petals in the flower, and the beds around the centre of the garden are meant to represent those petals. The hawthorn flower, which according to ancient folklore and traditional medicine had properties associated with emotional and physical healing of the heart. We decided to have the centre of the garden reflecting the circle of life, or the journey of life, of the different stages as you go through life. The stone at the very centre of the garden is what we regard the special stone in the garden. It's the donor dedicated stone. And in that stone, which we call the stone of unification, there are 2 hands carved in it, 2 hands touching, which symbolise the love, the bond of love that transcends time. On the side of the stone of unification, there are 3 handprints inscribed into it, a male, a female and a child's hand. The purpose of the handprints on the side are for people to get a sense of connection to somebody who might have passed on. Around the central stone are the 5 tall standing stones which give the title to the garden, the Circle of Life. And in these tall stones there is carved a symbol of each stage of the journey of life. The gift of a new child, the child in the sanctuary of the family, the child being released from the family to begin their own journey in life, the journey of life and the destiny. And these are meant in a way to reflect the circle of life, the journey of life, the cycle of life, the cycle of death, birth and renewal, which is very much manifest in the whole world of organ donation. One of the features of the garden is what we call the reflective area. It's a wall at the back of the garden with a font in it. It's a raised area where if there's something happening in the garden, it acts as a stage, or it's a place where people go to reflect on the experience of the garden. The very centre of that wall is a font that came from an old church in Galway from the 14th century, St. James's Church. And that font has flowing water, symbolising renewal of life. We've dedicated all of that area to organ recipients. A very important feature of the garden is a remembrance trough. It's an old stone trough filled with water, and there are a bowl of stones beside it. And people that come to the garden can place a stone in the font in remembrance of who they came, but it gives them the possibility of a connection to the garden, that they have actually participated in some event of remembrance in the garden.
So the donor families and people in general from around the country and from the various counties would feel welcome to the garden. And to specifically remember the donors from the individual counties, we decided we'd get a stone from a heritage site in each county. And with the help of the OPW, we succeeded in doing that. All those stones are in a low wall circling the garden. That gives a sense of welcome to all of the people from the various counties in Ireland. The Global Heritage Walkway includes a stone from each of the 5 continents. There is a stone from Ellis Island in New York, which remembers the millions of people from all over the world who travelled there to find a new life and new hope. From the Groote Hospital in Cape Town, where the first heart transplant took place. From India, with connections to Mahatma Gandhi. From Leuven in Belgium, a seat of learning and connected to the Irish monks of past centuries, and Melbourne with connection to Jim Steins, the great footballer, and to Ronnie Delaney. And these stones signify the message of a cause that transcends national boundaries and communicates a universal welcome to all visitors to the garden. The purpose of the Global Organ Donor Commemorative event, which is being organised by Strange Boat Donor Foundation in association with ODTI, which is Organ Donation and Transplant Ireland, is to give expression on a world stage to society's gratitude and appreciation for the life-giving gift made possible through organ donation, and to celebrate and honour organ donors and their families, and obviously also to promote organ donation globally.
The project will culminate on the 30th of November this year, which is the Golden Jubilee anniversary of the world's first heart transplant at the Groote Hospital in Cape Town in 1967. And it will involve the choreographed unveiling of a commemorative candle in each of these cities across the globe on the same date. And there will be corresponding special events on the day in Belfast, Derry and Galway.
Although the garden was set up to give comfort and support to the organ donation community and be a place to remember and celebrate the lives of organ donors, it has actually become a garden where everybody is welcome to come and remember and reflect on their own loved ones, and to be a place of calm, peace, and possibly even healing and hope for anyone who visits. This inscription from the poem Memory by our own President Michael D. Higgins really reflects the message and the spirit of the garden. We make an affirmation. The stuff of hope beckons. Out of the darkness we step and blink into the new light.